everyone, it's Hungry Masha. Recently I discovered that Hungarians make a cake called Goosefoot Cake for St. Martin's Day. A funny name for a cake, but in fact it's a delicious chocolate cake with sour cherry. I think it deserves to be eaten more than once a year. I would even make it for Christmas or New Year Eve. Do you want to cook it with me? Let's go.
Go, 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 go.
To begin with, we will make a chocolate sponge. It's a classic sponge with cocoa. In general, this recipe is very easy and beginner friendly. First, we will take 3 eggs and separate whites from yolks. We take our egg yolks and we add 3 tablespoons of sugar. We will also sieve 24 grams of flour and 12 grams of cocoa. I will also add a pinch of salt. Salt is a taste enhancer, that's why it's used not only in savory dishes but also in desserts. And now we mix our ingredients. And now we beat the egg whites. You can see stiff peaks, so the egg whites are ready. And now we are going to gradually add the egg whites into our chocolate mix. The dough for the sponge is ready. Now I'm going to put it into a cake tin. I don't butter the cake tin, I just put some baking paper. If you butter the cake tin, the dough will rise more in the center than on the edges and there will be a bump. So now we just put the dough into the cake tin. We are baking the sponge at 175 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. The sponge is ready. You see that there is no bump, it's even. And now we need to cool it down. In the meantime, we are going to make the cream. To begin the preparation of our cream, we take 150 grams of frozen cherries. And we put them on to boil. If you have fresh cherries, you need to take 90 grams of cherries and 50 milliliters of juice. We won't boil the berries for too long because we need to preserve them. And now we will drain the berries. We need to keep the juice because we will use it later. For the next part of our cream, we take 150 milliliters of milk, cold milk, and 18 grams of flour. I mix it well. And we need to thicken the sauce that we will use in our cream. So I put it on low heat and I keep stirring. The milk started thickening. So we switch off the gas and we wait until it cools down. Now we take 90 grams of room temperature butter, $60 grams of icing sugar, and 18 grams of cocoa powder. And we mix the ingredients. When the butter is ready, we take our milk and we add it into the cream. And we mix again. Finally, we just have to add our cherries. assemble the cake, I take our sponge. You can see that it's very nice and porous. I will remove the upper part of it. And now we put the sponge into the same cake tin with film. I will use our cherry juice to moisten the sponge. We add the cream. Make it more even on top. And we put this cake into the fridge for a few hours. The last step is to make chocolate glaze. I use the same glaze that I make for chocolate drip. You probably saw my videos with cakes with chocolate drip. I will melt the chocolate in the microwave. I check the chocolate every 30 seconds to make sure that it did not burn, and I mix it a bit because there is already some chocolate that started melting. And the chocolate has melted. Now we need to add some sunflower oil. I have 100 grams of chocolate, so I will add about 10 milliliters of sunflower oil. We mix the glaze and we need to wait until it cools down. It should cool down to about 30 degrees Celsius. Our cake has spent a few hours in the fridge. Now we can put on the glaze. I remove the cake tin and this film. We can make the surface a bit more even with a knife, like this. And we start pouring our glaze. And now we need to put our cake into the fridge for at least 8 hours, but better for longer. Our cake spent 24 hours in the fridge and we are ready to cut it. I will use hot knife to cut the glaze and a clean towel.